Good morning, students. Since this is my first video lecture for you, let me introduce myself. My name is Kalpana. I am working as assistant professor in the department of CSC MVR College. I am going to deal software architecture and design patterns for 4th BTech first semester students. In this video lecture, I will be giving a brief introduction about the software architecture and the design patterns. Since we CSC department are going for NBA, we should be familiar of the course objectives of the subject. So I will be explaining the course objectives in this. The course objectives enables the student to understand interrelationships, principles and guidelines governing architecture and evolution over time, to understand various architectural styles of software systems, to understand design patterns and their underlying object-oriented concepts, to understand implementation of design patterns and provide real world software design problems part, to understand patterns with each other and understand the consequences of combining patterns on overall quality of a system. Coming to the contents of unit 1. In unit 1 there will be two topics, and the first topic is envisioning architecture. In this we will having the architecture business cycle, what is a software architecture, architectural patterns, reference models, reference architecture, architectural structures and views. And the other topic is creating an architecture. In this we will be having quality attributes, achieving quality architectural styles and patterns, designing the architecture, documenting software architecture and reconstructing software architecture. In this video, I will be explaining the basics of software architecture and design patterns. That is, what is software architecture, the architecture business cycle, and what is an architectural pattern. What does software architecture means? Software architecture refers to the fundamental structure of the software system and the process of creating such structures and the relationships among that structure. Now coming to architecture, architecture is nothing but a blueprint or a plan of the structure. In this we have software architecture, which provides an abstraction to manage the system complexity and establish a communication link or coordination mechanism among the components of that structure. It defines a structured solution to meet all the technical and operational requirements while optimizing the attributes like performance and security. In short, I would like to say that software architecture is nothing but the fundamental structure of a software, its relationship among the components of that structure. It should be like the performance should be increased and the security should be high. The main aim of software architecture is to develop a software in such a way that it should have high performance and high security concepts. This software architecture will be created by a team of architects, and the architecture will include a complete set of design documents that outline how a software application will interact with hardware, networks and other components of an system. That is, the software architecture will contain a manual, that is a document which will have contain all the details about the software, its interaction with the hardware, networks and other components related to the software. The software architecture architecture is a tool used for communicating the detailed structure of a system. That is nothing but the software architecture gives a view or gives an idea about the detailed structure of the system. It explains both the internal and external relationship of components to define how the system will function in productive environment. That is, in real world, how the system will be working and how the internal components and the external components will be communicating with each other. It just gives a plan and a view or an idea to the person or the stakeholders how the system will be in future after developed. Further, the software architecture also involves a set of significant decisions about the organization related to software development. That is, it also contains some decision related ideas also, that decision related issues. The decision related issues which are contained in the architecture are selection of structural elements and their interfaces, behavior as specified in collaborations and among those elements, composition of these structural and behavior elements into large subsystems, architectural decisions align with business objectives. That is, these decisions which are included in the software architecture are the selection of the structure, that is which diagram is apt, which structure is correct for this system, what are the components which can be included in that structure, and how should it behave, and how should be design, and will it meet the business strategies, and how the user interface should be. These all will be taken, these all the decisions will be taken in this software architecture. Now coming to this, decisions can have a considerable impact on quality, maintainability, performance, and the overall success of the final project. As I have explained, these software architecture gives a view about the structure of the system, its internal behavior, the relationship among the components of the structure, system, etc. The decisions which we take in the software architecture has a great impact on the quality of the system which is being developed, its performance, and overall success of the final product. That is, if the architecture developed in this phase has a great impact on the finally developed product. Coming to the definition of software architecture, the way that software components, subroutines, classes, functions, etc. are arranged and the interaction between them is called architecture. That is, the internal composition of the components, their relationship, their classes, functions, and all the items impact the software architecture. Now, who is a software architect? A computer software architect is a developer who is responsible for the high level design and strategic planning of a new software product. That is, software developer. He is nothing but an architect, is nothing but one who plans all these internal issues, that is software internal relationship, the structure, and gives a plan of the new software product is called a software architect. A software architect plans the new system, new software, and gives a view or a plan about the upcoming software being developed. This can include hardware planning as well as design methodology of the code. The architect or the software architect, one who develops or one who designs the software product, gives a plan about the hardware as well as the design methodologies of the code and about all the details, internal details and planning of the software. Now coming to the structure of software architecture. Software architecture and software design includes several contributory factors such as business strategies, quality attributes, human dynamics, design and IT environment. That is, these are the factors that impact the software architecture, that is the future developed product or the finished product or the final product will be impacted by all these things, that is quality attributes, whatever we are selecting in the initial stage, the IT environment, the human dynamics, that is business strategies, design. These are all the factors that are impacting the software architecture. The design has a great impact on this architecture. Choosing the right design is a great strategy, and implementing next business strategy, implementing the idea in the right way is also a main thing in software architecture. In designing the software structure, the quality attributes, human dynamics and IT environment also has a great impact. That is choosing the uh, internal components, relationships, the software, the internal planning, everything has an impact on the developed software architecture. Now, we can segregate software architecture and software design into two distinct phases. That is, the software architecture and software design can be made into two phases. In the architecture phase, that is, in the software architecture phase, non-functional decisions are taken, and in the software design phase functional requirements are accomplished. That is, the software architecture phase contains all the non-functional decision making. What are the non-functional decision makings are casted and means taken and separated by the functional requirements. In this phase, the functional requirements and the non-functional requirements are separated and the non-functional decisions are made in this phase. Now, in the software design phase, the functional requirements, whatever are the functional requirement, what are they and what are to be accomplished will be done in this phase. Next concept is the architecture business cycle. It is also known as ABC. Like the software development life cycle, we have also the architecture business life cycle. In this also we have different phases. Now coming to software architecture business life cycle. As I have told, in software engineering also we have different phases. Like this, in this we have also different phases or stages. Now coming to this, software process is the term given to the organization, ritualization and management of software development activities. That is, life cycle means, in this business life cycle means the all the development and all the activities are planned in these phases. What activities are involved in creating a software architecture, using the architecture to realize a design, and then implement or managing the evolution of a target system or application. That is, in this software architecture business life cycle, what are the activities to be done will be planned in this stage. It may involve the our design process, implementation, and all the what are the requirements, everything are gathered and everything are kept together during this phase to design the new system in a efficient manner. These activities included in the following software architecture business life cycle, that is creating the business cases for the system, understanding the requirement, creating or selecting the appropriate architecture, communicating the architecture, then analyzing or evaluating the architecture, implementing based on the architecture, and ensuring conformance to an architecture. That is, in this software architecture business life cycle stage or life cycle, the following decisions will be made, that is creating a business case, that is creating a plan for the system, first understanding the requirements of the stakeholders, then creating and selecting an appropriate architecture, creating a architecture, selecting the best architecture for this, communicating the architecture means telling the displaying the architecture or implementing the architecture in an efficient way, analyzing or evaluating the architecture, implementing based on the architecture. And after all this, the architecture is selected, all the decisions are made, the requirements are gathered, and everything is happened in this life cycle stage. Next, coming to the motivation part. The software architecture is an intellectual graspable abstraction of a complex system. Why do we come to software architecture? What are the aspects that are motivating? That is, software architecture is an intellectual graspable abstraction of a complex system. That is like a plan, like a civil engineer will be drawing a plan, and the the person who is using it will get an idea by seeing the plan, and he will be able to understand it clearly how his future house or future will be, future project will be. So like this, software architecture is an intellectual graspable, that is we can easily understand by seeing the software architecture, the complex system that or the final product is to be developed, how the final product will be. The abstraction provides a number of benefits. It gives a basis for analysis of software system before the system has been built. That is what I have said is how the future system will be, how the future system is being built. It gives an analysis. The software architecture gives an analysis of the future system, how it will work, how it will be built, and what are the cost it will be, and how it will be, how it can be implemented in real world. Everything, every idea will be there, that it enables cost reduction. Software architecture is a means to manage risk and cost in complex IT projects. If we are designing a best software architecture, then it can manage risks, reduce the cost, and also solve complex IT projects. It also has the ability to verify that a future system fulfills its stakeholders' needs. That is, the future system that we are going to design will meet the stakeholders' requirement. That is, the person who has given us a project, he will specify all his requirements and all his needs to us, and we are going to design an architecture based on his needs, and our stakeholder will explain us what are the requirements, what are the system he wants, and we are going to take all his requirements and design a system based on it, and it helps in risk management. That is, by seeing this software architecture and by seeing the internal components and working, internal relationship, everything we are planning in this stage. This gives an idea of the future product to be developed or the future system to be developed, and it is also helps in risk management. That is, the problems that we go in the future or that we are will face in the future can be reduced by using this software architecture. Now I would like to give a brief introduction to design patterns. Till now we have learnt about the software architecture, that is nothing but a planning about the future system to be developed, what are the components that are used, whatever the relationship among the components and how the future system will look, and everything plan is done in this software architecture. Now coming to design patterns. In software engineering, a computer or a software design pattern is a general reusable solution to a commonly occurring problem within a given context in a software design. That is software design pattern is nothing but a reusable solution. What are the problems that my system is facing and what are the solutions available for it. I will be developing a design pattern for that solution, for that problems. That is, I will be reusable solutions is nothing but a general reusable solutions to a commonly occurring problems. That is, what are the problems my software is facing and what are the reusable solutions available for it. The solutions are designed in this software design pattern. It is not a finished design that can be transformed directly into source code or machine code. Some software design patterns are demonstrated here. Some of them are a creational design pattern, a structural design pattern, behavioral design pattern, functional programming, and concurrency pattern. These are some design patterns that are used in software architecture. In this creational design pattern, we deal with create objects in a manner suitable for the system. That is, in this creational design pattern, we are dealing with objects and we are designing objects based on the situation to meet the requirements. And next is the structural design pattern. In this, we are identifying a simple way to realize the relationship among entities. That is, creating entities, the relationships, everything is done in this structural design patterns. The next one is behavioral design pattern. In this, we identify common communication patterns among objects. That is, the communication or the relationship among how they behave, how they should behave, and everything is designed in this behavioral design pattern. The next one is functional programming, where programs are constructed by applying composing functions. That is, in this phase, functional programming, we are designing the programs and functions. What are the requirements? Based on the requirements, we will be designing some functions to implement those, and these are implemented. That is, programming part is done in this functional programming. Coming to the last pattern, it is concurrency pattern, which deals with multi-threaded programming. Multi-threads programming is dealt in this concurrency pattern. uh, I will be giving a detailed explanation when this concept comes in future. For now, I will be just giving an introduction about these patterns. Now coming to architectural patterns. An architectural pattern is a general reusable solution to a commonly occurring problem in software architecture within a given context. That is, the architectural pattern addresses various issues in software engineering such as computer hardware problems, maintenance problems, high availability, business risk. Everything is explained and everything is solved in this architectural pattern. This architectural pattern provides a solution to the commonly occurring problems in any context. It can be in any context. The problems will be addressed and the problems will be provide a solution. Some architectural patterns have been implemented with software frameworks. And an architectural pattern is a description of an element and relationship types together with a set of constraints on how they may be used. That is, an architectural pattern is nothing but a description of elements and the relationship types together. That is, as we have seen in entity relationship model or any other model, we will be giving some element or entities and we will be explaining the relationship among the entities. One or more entities are given and the entities and a relationship symbol is placed between those entities, and we will be giving a relationship that this entity is related to this, and we will be explaining all this in this architectural pattern. And what are the constraints on this? Everything will be done in this architecture. A brief description will be given of all the elements in this architectural pattern. For example, we can take the client server architecture is an commonly architectural pattern. Here client and server are two common elements and they coordinate with each other, that is they communicate with each other. For example, you can consider we are browsing on web and we are asking the server for some page, and the server, if it has the page, will return the page, otherwise it will return an error message. That is, we both the server and the user are communicating with each other, and there is a relationship among the client and the server. Client is asking for the data and server is providing the data. There is a relationship between the client and the server. This is an common architectural pattern used everywhere. Now coming to the five software architecture which are most commonly used or which are most have the most importance, we can say, or highly used. These architectures are layered or entire architecture, that is the client server architecture, any architecture can be considered in this. Then event driven architecture, microkernel architecture, space based architecture, and microservices architecture. These are some of the best or important five software architecture patterns which are mostly used. The first architecture in the top 5 architectures is the layered or entire architecture. This architecture is most commonly built around the database applications. That is the applications which include storing the information in tabular forms, that is in tables. That is the DBMS, database management system, stores that information in the form of tables. Such an applications use the layered architecture, and new applications that need to be built quickly are use this layered architecture. Also, the teams with inexperienced developers who don't understand other architectures also go for this. Since this is a simple architecture, the developers who do not have any knowledge about the architecture can also use this layered architecture. This architecture requires high maintainability and testability standards. Next is the event driven architecture. Many programs spend most of their time waiting for some event to happen. This is especially true for computers that work directly with humans, but it's also common in areas like networks. That is, the event driven architecture helps us to manage or build an architecture where an user is especially waiting for some event to happen or like that, or a human interaction to be happen like that. In such application, that is, a user is constantly waiting or waiting for some mouse click to happen or some keystroke to happen, that in such applications this event driven architecture is used. This is best suited for applications where the individual data blocks interact with only a few of the many modules, and in designing user interfaces and asynchronous systems with asynchronous data flows. And the next architecture is the microkernel architecture. This architecture is used in applications where one operation or other operation or a set of operations have to be done a repeated number of times. As this says, many applications have a core set of operations that are used again and again in different patterns. That is, here we have a operation or a set of operations that are to be performed repeatedly. So such operations are or such applications will be you made into the basic rotation. That is, in this case, the basic routines for displaying a file, editing it, and a part are made as a part of the microkernel. That is, the activities or set of activities that are to be performed repeatedly are kept as a part of the microkernel so that the process is speed up. This is best suited for application with clear division between basic routines and higher order rules, tools used by a wide variety of people, and applications with a fixed set of routines. That is, where the set of operations have to be performed repeatedly. And next is space based architecture. Many websites are built around a database and they function well as long as the database is able to keep up with the load. This operation or this architecture is used in applications or systems where databases store a lot of data, and this data is stored this data has to be stored for a long time, as well as the database have to keep up the load, and coming data also, it has to be accompanied. The space based architecture is designed to avoid functional collapse under high loads by splitting up both the processing and storing between multiple servers. That is, a huge amount of data will be coming to the databases for a long period of time, and the databases have to accompany or um, keep all the load and keep all the data in it. And to accompany such a situation, the data is split up into different parts and sent to different processing units or multiple servers for storing. In such applications, we are using space based architecture. That is, as the name specifies, space based means we are providing space for a huge load of data by splitting it and storing it in multiple servers. These space based architecture are used where high volumes of data are to be stored, and in the social networking sites. I'm now till now I have given a brief introduction about the basic concepts that are used in software architecture and design pattern. The last design pattern or the last architecture is the microservices architecture. In this, the goal is to create a number of different tiny programs and then split this new little programs every time someone adds a new feature. That is, we are creating a small tiny programs for every feature, and whatever the new feature he wants to add, he can just add it from that program. He can include that program and the program will contain the feature he wants. That is, if he want to include a new feature into his system, then he will be able to design one program for that feature and he can include it. That is, the goal of this is, instead of building a big one big program for the whole system, he is building small tiny programs are being built, and if he wants he can add that tiny program. If he wants, he can delete those tiny programs if you don't want the feature. These are very much used in websites with small components, new business and web applications, and development that are spread out often across the globe. That is, these microservice architecture is mainly used in websites. Till now, I have given the basic concepts that are to be used or that are being used or will be used in the future in your SADP, that is software architecture and design patterns. Uh, this is the end of the class 1. Thank you.